Tonight's game is built by Universal Roofing and Exteriors. Visit Universal at universalrfg.com. And brought to you in part by Genesis Sports Performance. Visit Genesis at genesissportsperformance.com. And by Ray Skillman Northeast Kia on Shadeland Avenue. And by High Gear Marketing at highgearmktg.com. Now, let's go to the field for Indiana High School football live on indianahighschoolsports.net.
It's a cool Friday night from Indianapolis, Indiana, where the North Central Panthers are hosting their metropolitan rivals, the Carmel Greyhounds. Welcome, football fans, into the Indiana High School Sports Network. I'm Andrew Milan, and I'm going to be taking you on this journey as two teams that have faced each other for 68 times tonight, marking it for the 69th time, are going to do battle from North Central on their homecoming football game. And it's finally starting to feel like that Indiana Friday night weather. It's 62 degrees with some rain in the forecast, a 70% chance at 7. That's going to be bumped up to 90% at 8. But for the Greyhounds, they've really had the number against the Panthers in recent years. In the last 16 matchups, Carmel has won 15 of them, with just one loss a few seasons ago. And they're coming in at a 3-2 record and 2-1 against conference opponents. As Carmel started the season off a little bit slow, going 0-2, but have regained their strength and have won their last 3 games, while they've been able to score over 30 points in each game, with their most recent win against Lawrence Tech. And they have been led by their stud wide receiver, Reese Bellin, who's just been hauling in passes left and right with 30 receptions, 518 yards, and 6 touchdowns. So he's averaging 6 receptions and 103.6 yards per game. And that's going to make his quarterback, Jack Kazmierczak, extremely happy, because Jack Kazmierczak is going to come in with a 68.7 completion percentage, and a very good chance that he will surpass that 1,000-yard mark by the end of this game, as he is sitting at 969 yards. And for North Central, they have not started the season, I don't think, any other way that they would have wanted, as they've started the season 0-5. It's not been a good start for them, with 3 straight losses to conference opponents. Nothing really going well from it in really any department. Their offense is averaging just 8.4 points a game. They're averaging just 67.4 rush yards, and their quarterback has thrown more interceptions than he has touchdown passes, and has a 43.2 QBR heading into the game. And then for the defense, they just can't stop anyone, as they have allowed 41.2 points per average and 206 points already this year. So they're going to have to try and slow up this Carmel Greyhounds offense that can both throw the ball for a high completion, and they can also run the football. As there's a coin toss going on in the middle of the field, we'll see who gets it. Won by Carmel. They are going to defer it. So that means that North Central will start with the football, and we'll see if their offense can get something going here against the Carmel defense. We have 2 historic head coaches meeting up tonight. John Hebert of Carmel has a 71-25 career record, with 2 state championships with his Carmel program, 3 appearances, and he has won a playoff game in every year since he's headed this program. That's 8 years. That's a total of 23 playoff wins, and he's had the number against this squad, as he is 6-1 against North Central and 4-1 against the Indiana High School Hall of Famer, Kevin O'Shea. He's in his 6th season with North Central, his 30th year as a head coach in high school football, and he has a 25-32 record with the Panthers. But when he was with Lafayette Central Catholic in 1A school, he went 114-10 with 5 1A state championships from 2008 to 2016. Kickoff is getting on its way. Carmel spotting it up. Back to return for North Central is Cannon Coffee and T.J. Williams, as North Central is sporting the all-red jerseys today with the black numbers. I have to say, these are some of the favorite uniforms I've seen thus far this season. And for Carmel, they wear the white uniforms with the yellow helmets and the yellow pants. Here comes the kick from Carmel as the boot is from Joshua Pladchek, and it's back into the end zone. That will go as a touchback. So that means that North Central will start from their own 20-yard line. North Central coming in with their quarterback, Brody Gibson, a 6'2", 180-pound senior who has went 50 for 106 in passing attempts and completions for 47%, 3 touchdowns, 6 picks, and a QBR of 43.2. And of course, these aren't official stats, as the stats on Max Preps were not put in last week. He also has a 405 yards. He's going to go out of the pistol formation. 3 receivers stacked to his right, 1 to his left. Perkins moves to his left in the sidecar. They get the snap. They're going to throw. He looks at his right. They're going for a deep shot on the first play, and he's completed it to TJ McWilliams. And McWilliams is past he's going to be exactly on the 40-yard line. A big gain of 40 yards to start this game. TJ McWilliams leads this team in receptions and yards. That's his 20th catch. They go under center this time. A trips formation to the right. A pitch out to Perkins. Perkins working his way. He gets brought down by a herd of Greyhounds. But what an exciting way to start your homecoming game. You got to get something going on offense, and that really had to be the focus for Coach O'Shea and his team, only averaging 8.9 points. And you start with a 40-yard hookup and a pitch to Perkins, who's really been the bell cow for this team. He has 51 carries for 273 yards with 2 100-plus games. Back to the pistol. Gibson scanning the defense, calls for it. It's a handoff up the middle to Perkins. Perkins breaks the tackle, and they're going to mark it close to the first down marker. And I'm wondering if they're going to have to measure this. They're going to say it's a first down. Once they put the ball down, that's when the far referee on the far sideline said, move those chains. 2 first downs for North Central to start the game. Brody Gibson was able to go to his sideline, talk to his head coach, and now head back to the huddle. Carmel's defense has allowed 19.4 points. They have not been able to defend the run very well. They're averaging 100 yards against them on the ground. They go to a 3-4 defense. Gibson going for another deep shot, and it's out of bounds. A lot of pushing and shoving. A lot of hand fighting by the 2 receivers. It was again intended for T.J. Williams. The coverage was by Christian Peterson. And that's going to make it 2nd and 10 from the Carmel 30-yard line. He knew where he wanted to go with it. They got the mismatch. And they challenged the very talented Christian Peterson. You may hear his name a lot tonight, not just in pass coverage, but also on the returns, and sometimes he'll carry the football. It's 4 receivers. It's 2 to the right, 2 to the left, both stacked, 1 in front and 1 behind. Hand off to Perkins. Perkins is going to get shoved down to the ground by William Helt, the outside linebacker of Carmel, who leads the team in tackles with 42 and then 4 sacks this year. Now it's 3rd and 8. It was only a 2-yard gain for the Panthers team. And after an explosive start, they were able to slow them down. This is a 3-4 defense that Carmel will run. They have 3 linemen and then an edge rusher. And for them, it's been Will Helt, the senior. And Kevin O'Shea is going to take a timeout. And before we take a timeout, let's remind you that tonight's game is built by Universal Roofing and Exteriors. Visit them at universalrfg.com or call 317-257-0779. We'll be right back.
Looking for training that makes a difference? Then Genesis Sports Performance is for you. Whether you're a grade school, high school, or college athlete, or just looking to get back into shape, Genesis has customized programs providing rapid gains in strength and conditioning, speed and agility. Genesis features a 7,000 square foot facility with state-of-the-art weight room and huge turf surface. Call Genesis at 386-7459 or visit them at genesissportsperformance.com.
We are back as North Central heads back to the field after burning their first timeout here in the fourth quarter with 10 minutes and 6 seconds to go. They're facing a 3rd and 8, the first time they've had a third down. They had a 40-yard gain to start the day and then got a first down after a couple of carries to their running back, Keandre Perkins. They're going to throw. They go to the left. He's got a man open. He catches it. He's in for a touchdown. What a big throw by Brody Gibson. It was a strike to Cannon Coffee. And for North Central, they open up today with a touchdown on a beautiful throw, a rainbow right into the basket as somehow Cannon Coffee burned Kyle Federocha, and it's 6-0. Incredible. 2 big plays by an offense that had been struggling. They didn't look like they struggled there. The extra point is up, and it is good. The one play cut the field in half, going from their own 20 to the Carmel 40, and then they really relied on Brody Gibson to step back, got that man-to-man coverage on the outside, threw outside the numbers, and it was a touchdown. We'll take a quick break. 7-0 North Central before Carmel gets their first shot at finding the end zone. Quick break.
Drive home your new Kia from the all-new Ray Skillman Northeast Kia on Shadeland Avenue. We have brand new Kias arriving daily.
Plus, we have a huge selection of certified pre-owned vehicles to choose from.
And payments as low as $199 a month.
We service all makes and models.
And we'll buy your old car on the spot. Right, Oscar?
Y hablamos español.
Come see us at the all-new Ray Skillman Northeast Kia on Shadeland Avenue.
It's not just a car dealership for me. This is my dealer.
What a start. A drive that only spanned a minute 59, and the Panthers went 80 yards for a touchdown. It has really the player of that drive was the quarterback, Brody Gibson, who had racked up quite a good amount of yards with a 40-yard completion to start, then a 28-yard touchdown pass. It's a low liner fielded by Reese Bellin, and he goes down just outside the 30. They're going to mark him down at the 33-yard line, and here comes the Carmel Greyhounds offense. Led by the quarterback, the senior, Jack Hasmerjack. 68 for 99 to start the year, 68.7 completion percentage for 969 yards. He has 9 touchdowns and just 1 interception, and last week he threw his longest pass, a 78-yard touchdown to Reese Bellin, who just returned the kickoff. May see his name a good amount of times tonight. Lavelle Stewart is behind his quarterback, Hasmerchak. It's a quick screen out to the right to Bellin. Bellin got a block, going to his left. He gets brought down outside the 40 and just short of the yard marker, and that's a 9-yard gain on a simple screen play out to the left by Hasmerchak. Elijah Alfiad is the back. Nathan Rogers, the junior, is a wide receiver to the near sideline. And you're going to see Reese Bellin here in the slot as the ball is spotted on the left hash. Just need 1 more yard to gain a first down. Back into the gun. Handoff up to middle to Alfiad. Alfiad pushes his way forward. It wasn't a lot, but just enough to get the first down. So the first down for the Greyhounds. Greyhounds have outscored their opponents 141 to 97. Offense is averaging 28.2 points per game, And they like to throw the ball. They average over 205 passing yards per game. Ballin here, closest to us, star receiver for this team. 3 receivers here to the right, 1 to the left. Handoff up the middle. Got a couple of blockers, and it's a herd of Panthers that bring down the running back. That was Lavelle Stewart, the 5'10", 213-pound freshman, who last week had 11 carries for 71 yards and scored 2 touchdowns in their victory against Lawrence North. Make it 2nd and 7. We'll say it's about a 3.5-yard gain. Going to keep Stewart in the game. Showing blitz. There's the blitz. Hand off to Stewart. Stewart got a hole. He cut to his left, and he's got the first down. Just beyond the 45-yard line. And that's a first down. 2 first downs already on the drive for Carmel. And they're going to sub Lavelle Stewart out. Bring in some fresh legs. They like to do this. I think this sub out running backs left and right. They've had so many guys carry the football at one point or another this season. Put a receiver in motion. Blake Matthews now in the slot. And it's a fake option. Nice move by Kazmarchak. Kazmarchak slides before he almost got brought down by Kavion Willington. And we'll say it's 3 yards. 2nd and 7. From just outside the 40-yard line of North Central. As Carmel watched their opponents go down the field and score a touchdown. Now Carmel is trying to respond the best way that they can. Carmel going to go into the huddle now. And Kazmarchak had to take off his helmet for a moment as Lavelle Stewart took the time to come back into the game. 7:21 left here in the first quarter. Still waiting for the officials to allow this to go. And the clock will start. Had to wait a little bit. But we're back to football. Friday night lights. May see some rain and some showers later. So if you're watching from home, you're going to be enjoying how warm you're going to be and how dry you can stay. Hand off to Stewart. Stewart goes to his left, and he gets hit and gets past the 40 for just a minimal gain of about 1.5 yards, as it looks like the first person there was Caden Edwards, the senior defensive end for this team. 3rd and 5. The first time that Carmel has faced a 3rd down, and you have to wonder if maybe this is 4-down territory. The yards to gain is 5. They're on the 39. They're in the gun with 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Stewart goes to the left to the sidecar of Kazmarchak. Kazmarchak gets the snap. He looks to his right. He has a lot of time. He goes to his left. He's still scanning, trying to find someone. He's going to take it himself, and he won't get the first down. They may have just gotten back to the line of scrimmage, maybe even lost an inch or two. It is 4th down as North Central's defense stands strong and forces this 4th down. And now you're really putting John Hebert in a tough situation if they're going to punt or go for it. And it looks like they're going to go for it. Yeah, Kazmarchak is out of the game. They brought in Christian Peterson. This is a Wildcat formation. The ball's on the left hash. Peterson gets it. He's going to go up the middle. He works to his left. He got the first down, and then more as he falls forward just outside the 25. As he was tripped up by a Panther defender. And if it wasn't for that, that could have been 6 points. Peterson is an athlete, as I mentioned. He plays corner, he returns, and he can run the Wildcat. Last week, 2 carries, 22 yards, and a touchdown. He has 82 yards on the season. I got a good chunk there of 12. So bump that number up to 94 yards. They have 2 running backs in the backfield. They're going to hand it off to the man on the right. He goes forward. He lost the ball. And the Panthers are saying they have it, but they're saying that he was down before the ball popped loose. That was a handoff to Tim Haas, it appeared. 2nd and 6 is a 4-yard gain. We have 5:22 to go. This drive's been a lot slower than what North Central had. Only a 1:59 drive that went 80 yards. McFall in the backfield with fake handoff. Yeah, man, wide open. He's going to walk right in for the touchdown. As he found Aiden McFall. As he just was running a post route, and he found him with no one around him. It was a miscommunication by the corner who bit on the fake, and it was a perfect pass for Kazmierczak for his 10th touchdown this season. The safety had to try to cover about 10 or 15 yards, but at that point, the ball had already found Caldwell, who walked into the end zone for the score. 7-6 right now. Here comes the point after, and it will split the uprights. We are now tied up at 7 as both teams have scored a touchdown on their first drive. And let's see if North Central can create the same magic they did to start tonight's game. As you're watching Indiana football from the Indiana High School Sports Network.
Universal Roofing and Exteriors is a family-owned and operated business, providing care and honest service for over 30 years. Universal has always been a little bit different. Their certified and trained employees don't just provide excellent work at a fair low price. They care about their customers, simply providing great customer service. Quality, honesty, dependability. That's Universal Roofing and Exteriors. Call us today at 317-257-0779.
Welcome back. As the Carmel Greyhounds have responded to North Central with their own touchdown on the connection from Kazmierczak to Adrian Caldwell. Senior to senior connection there, as that was Caldwell's first touchdown of this season. About a 27-yard strike. As here comes the boot from Carmel. And they're going to get a chance to return it. He goes to his right, he had a gap, and he is brought down by Mason Bardwell. That return was from T.J. McWilliams, who hauled in the first pass for 40 yards. And the ball is spotted at the 23, and that's where North Central will start. As their last drive went 80 yards, and they scored on a touchdown on the connection to Cannon Coffey. She's got to watch and see if Coffey comes back into the game. But what a drive it was by Brody Gibson, who, yes, he's had his struggles, but here on homecoming, anything can happen. That's the fun part about high school football. Coffey is back in the game at wide receiver. He scored the touchdown. He's lined up against, and there's going to be a flag. It looks like it's going to be a false start. It is a false start. So now they'll start this drive at the 18 before they even get the first snap. They've already lost 5 yards. For Gibson, that he threw his 4th touchdown pass on the year. And for Coffey, that was his first reception this season. And it went for a score. So a good time to have that first reception. 2 receivers to the far side of the field. Coffey here to the near sideline, a tight end to the left. And in the backfield is Keandre Perkins. They're going to go to Perkins on the 1st and 15. Perkins tries to cut it to the outside, and he was brought down by Artemis Bryant. He went to the right, tried to cut it up, but Bryant put his paws on him and brought him down. As Bryant leads this team in tackle for losses. That wasn't a tackle for a loss. That was a 5-yard gain. That's a correction. They didn't get very far. Looks like they might have lost maybe a yard or. This drive started at the 18. That's where the ball is spotted, is just outside that 18. 6 seconds on the play clock. They have to hurry. The receivers are here to the left in the trips formation. 1 second. Play clock has run out, but the referees didn't notice, and now they did. Soon as you said that. Soon as you mention the delay game, they then call it. So that's another 5-yard penalty that hurts North Central. In the way you started the game, you wanted to carry the momentum, but small mistakes can hurt you. Now they've lost 10 yards on the drive from a false start into the delay game. 4:04, and the ball is on the 13. It started on the 23. Second and forever for North Central. Gibson, 3 receivers to the left. He's got 1 to the right. Perkins moved up. They're going to throw. They go to the right on a slant route. Ball is tipped at the line and almost intercepted by Christian Peterson. Peterson was extremely upset as he slammed his hands on the turf because he knew that if he brought that one in, he might have had a chance at a pick 6. Or only that, he may have just got a chance to just get the interception. His knees probably would have been on the ground due to the deflection, but his team would start inside the red zone. And this is a defense that has forced 4 interceptions this year. They have 11 sacks and 7 takeaways. They would love to force one right here. 3:49 to go in the first frame. Step it up in the pocket, and he can't get away. There's a flag, and you got to wonder if that's going to be a face mask. As Gibson tried to step up, and his body turned to his right as a Carmel defender had him, but a bunch of flags have just flown after that, and we're waiting for the call here. And they're moving it up 15, and they did get him for it's still going to be 3rd down, though. If it was a face mask, it would have been automatic 1st down. So it's going to be 3rd down and 10 to go. But you do cut. You go back to the original line of scrimmage, though, as you were facing a 3rd and 20. Now you're facing a 3rd and 10 after Carmel, but seemed to have a sack, but the flags neutralized it. Gibson out of the gun again. He drops back to the straight 3-step drop, throws to his right, and the only person that he might have completed a pass to was a Carmel player on the sidelines, and here comes the punting unit. That incomplete pass will force 4th down and stop the clock at 3:16, just inside the 20-yard line. Back to punt for North Central is Ethan Gowdy. Back to return is Charlie Peterson. Here comes the punt. There's a bunch of white jerseys in the vicinity. It was a low punt, and it's just going in the direction of North Central, and it's inside the 30 on the 29-yard line is where they stop it, and that's where Carmel will start on offense. Genesis Sports Performance training Indianapolis area grade in high school athletes and adult strength training. Visit GenesisSportsPerformance.com. Tonight's game is built by Universal Roofing and Exteriors. Visit them at universalrfg.com or call 317-257-0779. Carmel scored on a long drive last time. They've definitely had the time of possession as they get set for their second drive as the lights have kicked on. It's a screen out to Bellin. Bellin had a few guys in front of him. He stumbles forward, and he's got the 1st down. That was a 14-yard gain to start the drive, and that's how Carmel started their last drive, is going back to their star receiver, just allowing him to get some open space and some blockers in front of him, and just allowing him to work and get one-on-one matchups against North Central defenders and forcing them to get tackles in open space. 2 to the left, 2 to the right. Running back in the backfield, hand it off up the middle, and Al-Fayyad got 3 yards to make it 2nd and 7 with 2.5 minutes to go. They're inside the 45 on the 46. As Carmel does not like to go into the huddle. The only time they've had to go into the huddle was when the referees had stopped due to the clock. Two receivers to the left for the Greyhounds. Alfiad is to the right of Kazmarchak. Kazmarchak is going to throw. He looks at his right. He's going to fire it deep downfield for Bellin, and Bellin was played perfectly by the North Central defender. That was Coron Dennis. Dennis just boxed him out. The ball was thrown way ahead of Bellin, and it's 3rd and 7. Underneath 2 minutes to go with a stop clock. Bellin was in the slot here on the right. Now he's going to move to the middle of the field. He's standing on the North Central Panther logo. Showing blitz is North Central. Now they drop back into coverage. And he's getting out of the pocket. There was a rush there. People are calling for holding. There's a throw, and did he catch that? What a completion to Alfiad to keep 1 foot in and bring it in. But the story is if there was that a holding, as it looked like Caden Edwards had gotten into the backfield, and they thought that maybe he was hooked by Nathan Pham, the left tackle of Carmel, which allowed Kazmarchak to get out of the pocket and find the man. But what a pitch and catch to get that first down and get into North Central territory. Bellin moves into the slot to the left. They're going to Bellin on that screenplay. He's going to his left, going for the sideline. He gets brought down. What an open field tackle on the far sideline. Looks like that could have been Kenneth Sellers. As he got past his blocker and into the backfield, that's actually going to be Keith Morrill. When you're running for the 3rd time, I guess the 3rd time is the charm for North Central on that screenplay. They finally stopped it, as the first 2 times it had gone for 9 yards or more. 23 yards in total from that screenplay, but right there, they got back to the line of scrimmage. They go to a curl route. It was completed to the outside to Aiden McFall. Correction, that's Adrian Caldwell, and Caldwell made a move and got a couple more yards there. Is 3rd and 2 now. We're going to be at a minute to go. Actually, he went out of bounds, so it stops at minute 04. 3rd and 3 from the 34-yard line of North Central. Can their defense make a stand? This is about where they stopped Carmel last time, but then Carmel went back to Christian Peterson, who ran the Wildcat, and there is Christian Peterson in the backfield. Wildcat formation again. He fakes it, goes to his left, and he gets tripped up. One person got his legs, one person brought him down from up top. It was Corlin Dennis that brought down his legs, and then Kenneth Sellers again. But there was a flag. They're calling illegal motion, and is it going to be declined? It would make it 4th and short, and they're going to decline the penalty. A lot of confidence in their defense to get a stop here. Carmel already showed that they're not afraid to go for it on 4th down. They came into this game with a 42% success rate on 4th down plays. 55 seconds to go. Inside the 35. They've just started the clock. Kazmarchak back into the game. His favorite receiver, his security blanket, Reese Bellin, here on the outside. They're in the gun. He drops back. He goes to his right. He's got some open space. He's still looking. He throws it short, and it's going to be a turnover on downs. And North Central is pumped up. Last time they had a good stop on 3rd down, but because of Peterson's athleticism to get the first down, North Central had to stay on the field and allowed a touchdown. This time on 4th and 2, they said no more, and their coverage was perfect. They got to the backfield immediately, got Kazmarchak out of the pocket, and he threw it short. North Central gets the ball back from their own 34-yard line with exactly 30 seconds to go. But their last drive, North Central couldn't get anything going due to a false start and a delay of game. They were back 10 yards. They had to punt it. Gibson drops back. He's looking. It's a screen play. He completes it to Thompson. Thompson had an escort in front of him, but unfortunately they got about 4 yards. And it's going to make it 2nd and 6. And looking at the clock, this looks like it's going to be the last play of the first quarter. As we're underneath 10 seconds to go. And that's what it appears, as North Central doesn't even have a play yet. But that's going to end our first frame. But what a fun one to start today, with two teams scoring a touchdown and then their defenses standing tall, as you're watching Indiana high school football from the Indiana High School Sports Network.
Looking for training that makes a difference? Then Genesis Sports Performance is for you. Whether you're a grade school, high school, or college athlete, or just looking to get back into shape, Genesis has customized programs providing rapid gains in strength and conditioning, speed and agility. Genesis features a 7,000 square foot facility with state-of-the-art weight room and huge turf surface. Call Genesis at 386-7459 or visit them at genesissportsperformance.com.
Universal Roofing and Exteriors is a family-owned and operated business, providing care and honest service for over 30 years. Universal has always been a little bit different. Their certified and trained employees don't just provide excellent work.
Welcome back. And this game is off to a hot start. As last year, when these two teams met, it was all Carmel as they won that game 45-0. But right now we have a 7-7 game between the two Metropolitan Conference rivals who have been playing each other since 1960. They're going to a deep ball, and it's overthrown, and did he make... Nope, the ball got away. I thought maybe that the intended receiver on the play in TJ McWilliams had hauled that in, but perfect coverage by Winston Berklund to knock it away and make it 3rd down. But Brody Gibson, the quarterback of North Central, has been showing off his cannon forward arm. He's already completed 2 deep passes in this game. He tried to go back to it there, but he got turned away. As for Berglund, that's his 3rd pass defended this season, as he does lead his team in interceptions with 2. And one of them for a touchdown. 3rd down play, they go to the left, he's wide open, they got the 1st down and more! Gibson threw right on the money to the edge. Trying to see who he completed the pass to. And you have to wonder if that was maybe T.J. McWilliams. That's correction, it was Cannon Coffey from this far side. He's made 2 receptions, both of them big plays. Fake pitch. They're trying to get it, and he gets hit hard from behind. Wow! What a play by Noah Bradbury as he buries Gibson in the backfield. And for Bradbury, that's his 2nd sack of the year and maybe the easiest one he'll get all season long. As somewhere along those lines, North Central did not communicate, and their quarterback paid the price as he was completely blindsided. Bradbury, who is 6'2", 200 pounds, just put all his weight on Gibson. And I know for Gibson, in a cold day like this, that is not going to feel very good. Be Midwest tough. Carmel was showing blitz, but Coach O'Shea is going to burn his 2nd timeout. The Panthers will have 1 for the remainder of the first half. And it's a reminder that tonight's game is built by Universal Roofing and Exteriors. Visit them at universalrfg.com or call 317-257-0779. We'll be right back. It's 7-7.
Universal Roofing and Exteriors is a family-owned and operated business, providing care and honest service for over 30 years. Universal has always been a little bit different. Their certified and trained employees don't just provide excellent work at a fair low price. They care about their customers, simply providing great customer service. Quality, honesty, dependability. That's Universal Roofing and Exteriors. Call us today at 317-257-0779.
Looking for training that makes a difference? Then Genesis Sports Performance is for you. Whether you're a grade school, high school, or college athlete, or just looking to get back into shape, Genesis has customized programs providing rapid gains in strength and conditioning, speed and agility. Genesis features a 7,000 square foot facility with state-of-the-art weight room and huge.
Welcome back, football fans, as both teams returned to the field after the sack, which put North Central back 7 yards, and the ball is on the midfield stripe with two receivers here to the right, one to the left. They're going to hand it off to Perkins up the middle, and Perkins just gets whipped down to the ground by Artemas Bryant. And they're going to lose a yard. So for Bryant, that's his 5th tackle for a loss this season, as Perkins so far has been hemmed in by the Greyhounds defense, doing whatever they can to slow up that bell cow that is Keandre Perkins, the 5'9", 170-pound senior, who came into the game with 62 touches for 330 yards and 2 receiving touchdowns. That leads his team. Perkins moves to the right, a yard behind his quarterback. They're going to air this one out. Gibson goes to his left, and he throws it down the field, and it's knocked away. That was a nice play by Kyle Fedorocha, the DB on the far side of the field, and 4th down is coming up for North Central, and they're going to punt it. They really don't have a choice, as they're about a semi-truck away from gaining a 1st down. So after they got a 1st down, a sack by Bradbury was what stops the drive. Back to punt is Ethan Gowdy. Christian Peterson is the return man. He didn't get a chance last time. And this is blocked. Ball is on the ground. It's picked up. Open field. And you can put 6 more points on the board for Carmel. Tim Haas into the end zone. Touchdown, Greyhounds. They got close last time. They got it that time. It was a low-line drive right into Haas, who got the block and then the touchdown, and Carmel has taken their first lead of the game. Wow. Life comes at you fast. 9:54 in the first half to go, and Carmel's going to line up the extra point with their kicker, Ben Sponsler. The snap, the hold, the kick, and with a nod of approval, it's good. But for Carmel, they have to be doing their own nods of approval from the sideline, as they just took a lead after a blocked punt for a touchdown. And a reminder that Genesis Sports Performance Training, Indianapolis area grade and high school athletes, and adult strength training. Visit GenesisSportsPerformance.com. We'll take a break. Carmel has a 14-7 lead.
Looking for training that makes a difference? Then Genesis Sports Performance is for you. Whether you're a grade school, high school, or college athlete, or just looking to get back into shape, Genesis has customized programs providing rapid gains in strength and conditioning, speed and agility. Genesis features a 7,000 square foot facility with state-of-the-art weight room and huge turf surface. Call Genesis at 386-7459 or visit them at GenesisSportsPerformance.com.
Universal Roofing and Exteriors is a family-owned and operated business, providing care and honest service for over 30 years. Universal has always been a little bit different. They're certified and trained.
Welcome back to North Central High School, and it's homecoming tonight. If you're a North Central fan tuning in, you will get to see the halftime festivities. As we'll keep the camera on, you can check those out. But for right now, we still have 9:54 to go before we hit halftime. And for Carmel, they have taken their lead. A blocked punt by Haas that resulted in a touchdown is what's given them that lead, as here is the boot by Sponsler, and it's going to be returned by McWilliams. And McWilliams runs into a giant crowd, and he is wrangled up and will settle at the 23-yard line. But man, for North Central, started this game so hot. Their offense has really struggled heading into the game. They were averaging just under 8.5 points and last in offense in the Metropolitan Conference, but they've really settled in. Their first drive, they went 80 yards, had a 40-yard completion to start it, scored on a strike to Cannon Coffey, who's for the first time playing wide receiver for the Panthers, and he has done extremely well as Coach O'Shea has turned to an athlete who is lined up on the far sidelines close to the Carmel sideline. Gibson drops back, looks to his left, throws it across the middle of the field, and it's dropped! Oh man, they're going to want that one back. It was intended for Ryan Smith as he ran a post pattern right into the middle of the field, right in the soft spot of the Carmel defense, and the ball was right into the basket, but it fell through the wickets. Second down. That's a rough start to the drive. But they still have a couple more plays if they want to get another first down. That's the good news. But for Gibson, who came in struggling with just a 43.2 QBR, he's trying to lead his team down the field and get those points back. They're just gifted. Fake. Gibson working to his left. He opens up the shoulders, throws, and is intercepted. What a fantastic play by Christian Peterson. I told you he was an athlete heading into the broadcast. He leaped up into the air, pinpointed that football, and hauled it in. And it's back-to-back drives for the Panthers where there was a turnover. The block punt, and then that interception by Gibson, his 7th of the season. And for Christian Peterson, that's his first interception. He leaped about 5-6 feet off the ground to get that first interception. He had to work for it. But Carmel trying to take a 2-possession lead here. 4 men down for North Central. A handoff up the middle, and 5-yard gain to cut it in half to Lavelle Stewart. 2nd and 5. And they are on the 41-yard line of North Central, which their defense did not allow that second touchdown, but they did their job last time, forcing the incompletion from Jack Kazmarchak and getting the turnover on downs. Kazmarchak in the gun. 2 running backs in the backfield with them. They go back to Stewart. Stewart counter to his left. He got a hole. He's got the first down. Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling for Lavelle Stewart. And they're outside the 30 on a 13-yard gain and a first down. Just outside the red zone is the Carmel Greyhounds. Kazmarchak has a passing touchdown to Adrian Caldwell. They put 2 more running backs in the backfield. They fake it to Stewart. Kazmarchak working to his right, and that's a hold. No matter what happens here, it's going to be coming back. They complete it down the field, but you have to know that was a definite hold, as it looks like they're going to get that on Nathan Pham, who essentially just tackled the man that got in the backfield, Kavion Williams. And I know if there was a student section beneath us somewhere, they'd be chanting, "You can't do that." And that was a definitive hold call, as the referee behind the quarterback had to throw that dirty laundry. And it's going to be from the spot of the foul. They're going to mark them all the way back to the, we'll say it's a 47-yard line. And they got to get to the 21. It's first down and forever for Carmel now. They're about midfield as they were just outside the 30. That holding penalty's really pushed them back. They're going to go back to the air. Kazmarchak's got time this time. The pocket's breaking down. He throws it and completes it to Bellin. Bellin's got a player on his leg. He was trying to bring him with him. He had a couple more yards because of it, but a really good job by Keith Morrow to slow down the athlete that is Reese Bellin and wait for more Panthers to come in. Some reinforcements, as you will. They got some yards back, but it's still second and about 21. It's on the 42 in plus territory for the Greyhounds. Kazmarchak got two receivers to his right, to the left. Williams in the backfield with them. Another throw. He's got a man open, but he overthrows an intended receiver in Blake Matthews. As Matthews tried to jump up into the air, and even if he did haul that one in, coming in to close it was Cameron Travis, the DB, that would have had a really good chance of putting a lick on Matthews. Third and a good distance. I don't know if you practice 3rd and 20s too often, but for Carmel, if they want to get a first down or maybe just want to get some yards and put themselves in field goal range, they got to complete a pass here because they'd be looking at a 59-yard kick. Kazmarchak goes to his left. Going for Houdini act. He throws. It looks like he was trying to sneak its way to Nathan Rogers, but instead Caldwell jumped and knocked it away from his own teammate, and it's going to be 4th down. Another drive where the North Central Panthers defense did their job. And you just didn't know what you were going to see from the Panthers defense. They had really struggled in their last couple of games, as they have allowed 30 points or more in every game this season. A punt coming up for Carmel. They go to Caden Weaver. Back to return is Coffey. The punt from Weaver, he works it to the right. Cannon calls for a fair catch, and he slides down the one knee, but there is a flag thrown at the 26-yard line. Let's see what this call is. They're spotting the ball at the 11. That's where Coffey had called for the fair catch and then hauled it in. And you wonder if you're going to have to push them back half the distance to the goal. The man in the zebra striped shirts now having the conversation. Chop block on North Central. So, yeah, that's going to be half the distance to the goal. So spot that ball at the 5.5-yard line. But again, looking back at this defense, they have allowed 206 points. And there was a 3-game stretch where they allowed 44 points or more, with 45 against Hamilton Southeastern, 47 against Warren Central, and then 44 against Lawrence North. Last week they allowed 36, but had no help from their offense. Well, they were calling for rain. You do have some dark clouds, but nothing thus far. This homecoming game for North Central has remained dry, and I would like to believe everyone in attendance would like to keep it that way. And for North Central, due to that chop block, they're going to start at the shadow of their own end zone. Gibson under center. He doesn't typically go under center. He had 3 players in the backfield. They hand it off, and what a play by the Carmel Greyhounds defense. The first man there was Mason Bardwell, as he turned into a wall and just streaked his way down the field and pushed North Central back maybe half a yard. Second down. Looked like that was a try to hand it off to Keandre Perkins with 2 men ahead, and Gibson is trying to get a call from the sideline. That play clock is underneath 10. We've already seen it where North Central's already had to burn 2 timeouts, and they're going to have to burn their 3rd timeout. The play clock was already down to 1, and they had to burn it. And for North Central, the miscommunication has to be fixed because you have no more timeouts. And with 6:44, that's not the ideal spot that Coach O'Shea wanted to see himself in. But the timeout, we'll take a timeout Don't go anywhere. It's the Indiana High School Sports Network broadcasting North Central and Carmel.
Looking for training that makes a difference? Then Genesis Sports Performance is for you. Whether you're a grade school, high school, or college athlete, or just looking to get back into shape, Genesis has customized programs providing rapid gains in strength and conditioning, speed and agility. Genesis features a 7,000 square foot facility with state-of-the-art weight room and huge turf surface. Call Genesis at 386-7459 or visit them at genesissportsperformance.com.
We're back from the timeout. Andrew Mild here on the play-by-play from Indianapolis, Indiana. Friday night lights. The weather's finally that crisp fall weather. We're enjoying it here from the booth. And under center again is Gibson. Two running backs in the backfield. Look like a wishbone offense. They're going to throw. It's a quick, and they block him down in the end zone. It's a safety. 93 Artemis Bryant puts a bear hug on Gibson and brings him down for 2 points. That is now 9 points from the Carmel Greyhounds defense and special teams. The special team scored a touchdown on a blocked punt, and for Bryant, that was his first sack of the season. He has been credited with 3 hurries, but what a time to get your first sack of the year and the second sack of the game for Carmel. That's on back-to-back drives where they've been getting those sacks. As Bradbury, the other outside edge, got his own sack that sent North Central back 7 yards, but now this is going to turn into a free kick for the Panthers. And I know for a lot of people that may be watching this, if you're a big fantasy football fan, you'd be happy to see your NFL fantasy defense score a touchdown on special teams and get a safety, because anything that special teams does, you also get points for. So they're going to kick this away from the 20, and you have to just think that it's going to be Charlie Peterson and Winston Birkeland back to return. I don't know if you ever want to ever practice having to do a free kick from the 20, but that's where North Central is seeing themselves right now after they allowed the 2 points. And that chop block is really starting to loom its head against North Central. Here's the free kick. It's a low kick fielded by Birkeland. Birkeland cuts to his left. He's got a lane. He's going back to his left. He's got a convoy in front of him. He's out across the 40 to the 35, and he gets pushed out at the 33-yard line. We're going to say that was actually Reese Bellin back to return, but either way, a phenomenal return, and I wonder if that's a flag on the far side. Sometimes you have to be careful. You don't know if it's a yellow flag, or maybe with Carmel being yellow, that maybe it might be a loose cleat. And they're calling that I think that was called a head-to-head on Carmel. They put the fists together. I never typically see that. But helmet-to-helmet hit, looking like on Carmel. So instead of Carmel starting on plus territory, they're going to push them back a long way. The ball is on their own 49. But for Kavion Willington, he's trying to get the 12th man into it. That, of course, is this very large North Central crowd. The student section is to our left. It is homecoming. I have to say, as I walked into the stadium today, you could smell the grilling going on. They had a party on the baseball field just beyond, and there's a handoff up the middle to Alfia. Alfia breaks a tackle, and he got the first down. Keep the butter churning, young man. He got 12 yards, it appeared, and it's a first down. He put his head down and worked his way up to the 38. And then another face mask on the Panthers. That's now 2 personal fouls that happened on North Central. So not only do you get that good chunk play to start the drive, you can add on another 15 yard. Actually, I think that looks like it may have been just a 5-yard face mask. The one where you grab it and let go immediately. Because they didn't move the ball very far after that. But Carmel is racing up to the ball. They have a long way to run. But I have to say it was pretty exciting. It had a good atmosphere today coming into North Central as they try to beat a team that has really had their number this season. Kazmarchak in the pistol formation. Hands it off to Alfiad, and Alfiad's not going anywhere! What a read by Christian Boot. As he got into the backfield and forced the 2-yard loss. He read that perfectly from his inside linebacker position and tripped up Alfiad. It really looked like he was trying to get revenge after Alfiad had made some of his teammates look silly on the last play. Alfiad still behind Kazmarchak. Kazmarchak goes back to him. He goes to outside the right tackle, and they move it up to the 26. 9-yard chunk play to make it second and short. So you lose 2 yards, then you gain 10, and you're knocking on the door of getting a first down. And this is 4-down territory. We've already seen this team go for on 4th down twice. One time it was successful. Second time it was not. And if they don't get first down here, what may get to see if they can even that out. Showing blitz is North Central. They get the blitz. Ball on the ground. The ball's on the ground, and it looks like North Central has it. It was a bad handoff between Williams and Stewart and Kazmarchak. And they're saying that the ball is going to stay with Carmel. Wow. I thought for sure that Carmel had gotten there. The North Central player had gotten to the ball. But instead, Carmel will be facing a 4th down. This is the 3rd time they'll go for it, and they're going to take some time to talk about it. They just burned their first timeout. They have 2 remaining for the remainder of the first half. 4:19 to go. 4th down coming up. Don't go anywhere.
Drive home your new Kia from the all-new Ray Skillman Northeast Kia on Shadeland Avenue. We have brand new Kias arriving daily.
Plus, we have a huge selection of certified pre-owned vehicles to choose from.
And payments as low as $199 a month.
We service all makes and models.
And we'll buy your old car on the spot. Right, Oscar?
Y hablamos español.
Come see us at the all-new Ray Skillman Northeast Kia on Shadeland Avenue.
It's not just a car dealership for me. This is my dealership.
Just minutes from anywhere in Indy or online at rayskillmanshadeland.com.
4th down coming up for Carmel. Here they come, Wildcat formation. They ran this on the first 4th down they went for on the first drive. Christian Peterson, who got the interception against Gibson, is now in to play quarterback in this Wildcat formation. Alfiad to his left. They're to fake it to Alfiad. Peterson's going to keep it, and Peterson's down. He's short. Turnover on downs. North Central is getting the ball. Looks like it was Kenneth Sellers that tripped him up, went for the legs, and took down Peterson. And for now, North Central, they are 2 for 3 when it comes to Carmel Greyhounds' 4th down conversions. This defense has really stepped up. Peterson, it just looks like he took forever to decide if he was going to go for it or not. Used Alfiad as a blocker, but at that point, Sellers had already gotten there and got him. 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Fake jet sweep. They get it to Perkins, and Perkins gets a minimal gain of 2 yards. 2nd down. The man coming from the turf for the Greyhounds was Mason Bardwell. They got Perkins. 3:50 to go. 2nd and 8. This rivalry is an old one, and they're starting to see some hard-nosed football tonight. Both defenses playing particularly well. As North Central scored on the first drive, have not really found that same success. for Carmel. They scored on their first drive, but because of their special teams and defense, they've scored 9 more points. Handed off to Perkins, and Perkins sheds off a tackler. He tries to get his way through traffic, and he got back to the line of scrimmage. No yards. 3rd down and 8 to go for the Panthers. Can Kevin O'Shea get the first win of the year for this team? They have started the year 0-5, and you don't have to look too far to see the last time they started 0-5. Last year they started 0-7 before their first win. He's a Hall of Fame coach that's been doing this a long time. 3 decades of high school football for O'Shea. His offense on the field. Gibson drops back. Pressure coming in. It's a screen play, but Bardwell is there. They're going to say it's incomplete, but Bardwell is going to be credited with the pass deflection and forcing that incomplete. The clock stopped at 2:32, 4th down. The Panthers did everything right there. When you run a screenplay like that, where you're trying to set up your star player in Keandre Perkins, you allow all the defensive linemen to come in, and then you dump it down, so then all of your O linemen can then work up the field and get into the secondary and face guys that are a little bit smaller than them. They got that one off a lot quicker than they did last time. Peterson calls for a fair catch, and he will catch it just outside the 45-yard line at the 44. And tonight's game between North Central and Carmel is built by Universal Roofing and Exteriors. Visit them at universalrfg.com or call 317-257-0779. Again, that number is 317-257-0779. 2:27 to go. North Central has no timeouts. They've burned all 3 of them. The last one was burned with 6 minutes to go in this first half. And for Carmel, they have 2 to work with. They have to try and go 56 yards. Kazmarchuk goes out to Bellin. Bellin goes to the outside, and he maybe got 2 yards. He was popped by number 11, which is Cameron Travis, who used the hit stick to send him flying out of bounds. And they're saying that's 4 yards. And because he got out of bounds, the clock has stopped momentarily at 2:20. Trips formation to the right. One receiver to the left. That's Adrian Caldwell closest to us. Alfayad's in the backfield. High snap. Alfayad gets a carry up the middle. And they said he got to the 49. So that's 3 yards. And 3 yards to go. 3rd down coming up for Carmel. Carmel's already on top of the football. That's one thing that Carmel has been able to do is hold on to their timeouts because they get that play call almost immediately, and the O-line are already on top of the football. 4 down linemen for North Central. They put Bellin in the motion. He's in the slot. It's an option out to the left to Alfayad. Alfayad bounces off a guy. He's got open field. He's racing. He gets slammed. Wow. Big boy tackle by Caden Edwards, but a 1st down. That play started at the North Central 49. They spotted it at the 33. That's a 28-yard gain. Corrections, at the 28. That's a 33-yard gain. 3 to the left, 1 to the handoff up the middle, and breaking off a tackle is McFall, and then McFall falls forward to the 22-yard line, 6 yards. We are under 80 seconds to go. The clock has stopped as Carmel has taken a timeout. If you're just joining us, we'll go through how we have got to where we are as North Central went 1:59 down the field, 80 yards on a hookup between Gibson, Brody Gibson and Cannon Coffey for Coffey's first reception. That was a touchdown. Then Kazmarchak and the Carmel Greyhounds offense took their turn, and they connected to Adrian Caldwell, who got his first touchdown as it was a play action, and Jeremiah Timberlake bit and did not allow Coffey to get there in time, and Caldwell walked into the end zone for a touchdown. And then it was a block by Tim Haas, who then returned it for a touchdown on a punt. And then the 2 points came from a sack by Artemis Bryant. That's why we have a 16-7 score. And the Greyhounds are just outside the 20, almost to the red zone. This team has been very successful in the red zone this year, 12 for 14 when it comes to scoring. 2 to the right, 2 to the left. Running back in the backfield. They go back to Alfayad. Alfayad's got a hole. He breaks off a tackle. He goes to his right, breaks another tackle. He keeps moving, and he's inside the 5. They got 19 yards. That's a big boy run by Elijah Alfayad. He came in with 25 carries for 128 yards. They go back to the ball. They're under center for the first time in the game. Going back to Alfayad. Alfayad lowers his head, and he may have just gotten back to the line of scrimmage or maybe gained a half a yard. Second down and goal. We're under a minute. Can Carmel punch in one more score and head into halftime with a possible 16-point lead? Alfayad has worked hard. He's out of the game. Lavelle Stewart is in. They go to the bigger back who outweighs Alfayad by 53 pounds. They put a fullback into the game. They go to Stewart. Stewart will walk right on in there. Touchdown for the Greyhounds. Lavelle Stewart punches it in for his third score this season, as he had 2 touchdowns last week, and his team has a 15-point lead with 29 seconds to go in the first half. What a drive by the Greyhounds, as Elijah Alfayad, who may not gotten the score, did a lot of the work, a lot of the damage, as he ran about 40 to 50 yards on the drive. Lining up the extra point, and there's a flag. Some pre-snap festivities, as you will. And the approachment on North Central. So let's move the ball about a yard and a half up. Ben Sponsler is the kicker. They're looking to the sideline, and they're going to allow Sponsler to go for it. They just declined it. Don't know if I've ever seen a encroachment ever declined before, but when your team is up 15 points, you have a lot of confidence in your kicker. Might as well just let him boot it from where he usually is. Here's the extra point, and it's good. Good snap, good hold, good kick, and a good lead for Carmel. They lead it 23-7, 29 seconds to go, and I'm willing to think that once North Central gets the ball back, that they may just do a simple handoff to Perkins and call it a half, because they have no timeouts. So even if they march down the field, they're going to have to be hurrying the entire way down. And we've already seen it where the kickoff, Ben Sponsler, has booted it into the end zone a few times for some touchbacks. But touchdowns for Adrian Caldwell, the wide receiver, and Lavelle Stewart got a 3-yard rushing touchdown. You get a lot of credit to that front line, and Nathan Pham, Trent Fisher, Ethan Trent, Evan Parker, and Spencer Barrett. The Hogs out front. All of them are over 6 foot, and all of them weigh over 265 pounds. So they're getting some really good pushes at the line of scrimmage and winning the battle in the trenches, and that's how they've been able to control the game. Looking to kick the ball is Joshua Plodchek, and here comes his kick. Again, back to return is Coffey and McWilliams. It's short, and it's going to send him down to the ground as it was caught by Demarion Harris, and that ball is spotted at the 31-yard line, 36-yard line, correction. And we'll see if North Central is going to be aggressive now. They're going to start at the 36 instead of their own 20 as Gibson enters the huddle with his teammates wearing the all-red uniforms today. They're in the pistol formation with Perkins right behind his quarterback. Senior and senior in the backfield. Hand off to Perkins. Perkins puts some moves on, and he gets wrapped up and corralled inside of the 40 by Will Helt. They're back on the ball quickly. They have 10 seconds. It looks like they may spike this. And they clock it. 7 seconds. Interesting here. And now you're wondering if Kevin O'Shea is going to let his quarterback air it out. But realistically, can Brody Gibson throw the ball 57 yards to the end zone? We may find out. Do you know another quarterback that wears the number 12 that could do that? Except he wears the green and gold. And as someone from Northwest Indiana, don't really like to allude to him, but I have to respect the cannon of an arm on Aaron Rodgers. Let's see if Gibson can air it out here. To the left, to the right. They go to a quick pass out to the right to McWilliams. McWilliams got a block. He gets out of bounds, and the clock stops at 1 tick to go. First down for North Central, and they moved it up to the Carmel 47. One more play, and you can just see it on your screens. They have sent as many players in to play defense. There's a wall of 5 Greyhounds on the 35 and 3 deep safeties, one of them being Christian Peterson, who already has an interception. He's going to be playing center field. This is almost like baseball, as you will. Another quick out to McWilliams. McWilliams slips. He goes to his left, and he is brought down by the bottom of his jersey, and that's how the half ends. That tackle gets credited to Artemis Bryant, who had the safety, and he gets to close the half. It is halftime from North Central as both teams go to their respective locker rooms. And for Carmel, they scored 23 unanswered points to end the first half after they fell down 7-0 early. We're going to take a break. We'll come back for a quick halftime to kind of recap what's going on so we can set you up for the second half. But for now, enjoy the halftime festivities from North Central's Homecoming 2022.
Drive home your new Kia from the all-new Ray Skillman Northeast Kia on Shadeland Avenue. We have brand new Kias arriving daily.
Plus, we have a huge selection of certified pre-owned vehicles to choose from.
And payments as low as $199 a month.
We service all makes and models.
And we'll buy your old car on the spot, right, Oscar?
Y hablamos español.
Come see us at the all-new Ray Skillman Northeast Kia on Shadeland Avenue.
It's not just a car dealership for me. This is my dealership.
Just minutes from anywhere in Indy or online at rayskillmanshadeland.com.
Universal Roofing and Exteriors is a family-owned and operated business, providing care and honest service for over 30 years. Universal has always been a little bit different. Their certified and trained employees don't just provide excellent work at a fair low price. They care about their customers, simply providing great customer service. Quality, honesty, dependability. That's Universal Roofing and Exteriors. Call us today at 317-257-0779.
Welcome back into the booth. Andrew Mile here at halftime. As you're starting to see some of the North Central Panthers festivities going on, and as you enjoy the shows here at Homecoming 2022 at North Central High School, let's recap the first half so we can get you ready for the second half. Well, it all started off with Carmel deferring, so then North Central's offense started on the field first. So when we get back for the second half, Carmel will get the ball first, and they have a 16-point lead. But how did we get here for the score to be 23-6 or 23-7? Correction. Well, it started with North Central marching down the field, and Cannon Coffee hauling it in from Brody Gibson for a 27-yard strike for the touchdown to make it 7-0 for North Central. Carmel then gets the ball back and slowly and meticulously move the ball down the field, and it was a beautiful play action to Lavelle Stewart that opened it up for Adrian Caldwell to be wide open, and Kazmarchek just had to put it right into the hands of Caldwell, and Caldwell walked in for the touchdown to make it 7-7. No teams had scored after that, and early into the second quarter, North Central tried to punt the ball away with Ethan Gowdy, but Gowdy was met by Tim Haas, who blocked the low line drive punt. It rolled away. He picked it up and walked it in when there was no Panther within 20 yards of the senior inside linebacker. So that made the score 14-7. And then Carmel punted at about midfield, and North Central was going to start on their 11, but then a chop block pushed them back to their own 5.5-yard line. So it was just inside of the 4. A run pushed them back another half a yard, and then on a run, or actually on a pass play, that's when Carmel got in the backfield with Artemis Bryant, who sacked Gibson for 2 more points. It was 16-7 at that point. And late into the first half, under 2 minutes, the Carmel Greyhounds handed off to Elijah Alfiad, who worked his way down the field on a couple of carries. And on the 3, they give it to Lavelle Stewart, the 5'10", 213-pound freshman, who's going to have a very successful football career before it's all said and done here at Carmel High School, who went into the end zone for his 3rd score of the season. So Carmel will take the 23-7 lead into halftime. They'll start off with the football on the opening kickoff, and just a reminder that there is a running clock at 35 points within the second half, but that's still 19 points away for Carmel. Hopefully North Central can make some adjustments and come back out, because they had some lightning in the bottle to start the game with their 80-yard drive that was under 2 minutes as they went down the field and got that touchdown. Let's see if they can figure out what they did in the first drive and implement that to their offense for the rest of the game, as they're down 3 scores against the Carmel Greyhounds. Their defense has stood up, allowing no points since that first drive, and North Central's defense has done their part too, as 9 points were scored from the defense and the special teams of Carmel. We got 6 minutes to go before halftime is over. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back for more football from the Indianapolis, Indiana. You're watching the Indiana High School Sports Network. I'm Andrew Mild. We'll see you in the second half. We are entering the second half as both teams have returned to the fields. You have Carmel here on the north end zone and North Central here in the south end zone, getting some calisthenics, getting loosened up. It is a cold night, so the muscles might be tightening up a little bit. As we enter the second half, we would like to remind you that tonight's game is built by Universal Roofing and Exteriors. Visit them at universalrfg.com or call 317-257-0779. Again, that number, 317-257-0779. It was an extended halftime period, and they incorporated another 2 minutes and 40 seconds onto the board as you got to watch the halftime festivities for North Central. It was a fun little show as North Central went all out this year, and why not? They have a good crowd on hand today. Some umbrellas are breaking out as, yes, there's the rain. Somehow our producer tonight, Khalil, was able to escape the rain, and after his run to the concession stand, he stayed dry. And it does not say the same story for the fans and for the players, as umbrellas are starting to poke their heads from in front of us and from the far sidelines. Some fans were prepared, others it appears not so much. But again, it's going to be a fun second half now. Now you incorporate the factor that is Mother Nature. Is that ball going to be a little bit more slippery? We're going to start to see more fumbles, dropped passes. You never know when you start to incorporate these conditions. It wasn't a very windy day as the American flag has just passed the south end zone, is just hanging out from the pole. Let's see if that wind can, well, the rain can affect North Central or Carmel, and they make the adjustments they need with this weather. We're 1 minute to go before we get back to the second half, with Carmel up 23-7. The question you have to ask for North Central is, what can they do to make a 16-point comeback? And if they can somehow make a comeback on 2022 homecoming, that will be a game they'd be talking about in 10 years from now with a lot of these seniors when they come back for their class reunion. They're going to have to get back on offense. Again, as I mentioned it in the brief halftime show that we had, they scored quick. After that, not so much success. Their defense looked really good when it came to the passing plays against Carmel, as they were forcing Kazmarchek to hold on the ball for quite some time, step out of the pocket, and throw while on the move, which doesn't allow him to open up his shoulders and put some heat on it, and that allows North Central to get to the ball then. But for North Central, they didn't want to be down 23 points to start the second half, as, again, Carmel deferred it, and now they'll start with the ball to start the second half as their kickoff return team is on the field with Peterson and Reese Bellin back to return this kickoff, and Smith to kick it away. The tee is on the field. The ball is in the hands of the kicker. Second half football is coming up. 24 minutes to go from North Central. Really starting to feel like football in Indiana, the blue-collar state that this is. Got to appreciate a cold, rainy night. Puts a smile on the faces of the hard-nosed, old-style football players. There's the kick. It's short of the end zone. Peterson fields it at the 5. He cuts back to the middle of the field. He goes to the right. He breaks the tackle. He's past the 40. He's in a foot race. He's past the 50. And he's out past the 40-yard line. What a return by Peterson. He went 56 yards. Incredible return to start this second half. And Kazmarchek, the quarterback, got to be happy with Peterson. A lot of high fives for the return man, some hugs for Peterson, as Peterson really is the Swiss Army knife of this team. He's got to carry couple of carries from the Wildcat. He has an interception in this game and a couple of pretty good returns. One of them was negated, though, due to a helmet-to-helmet on the Greyhounds. A low throw, and he got nowhere to go. Bell had nowhere to go. He gets brought down by a gang of tacklers, one of them being Cannon Coffee, the safety. Seen that play a couple of times today between Kazmarchek and Bellin, the senior connection, where Kazmarchek came into the game with 68 completions, 30 of them to Reese Bellin. So just underneath 50% of the completions by Kazmarchek was to number 8, as you just saw, go in motion from the right to the left. They go to the option to the outside. Alfriad, who ended the first half strong, is working ahead, and he got ahead of steam, and he might be just short of the first down marker. It's third, actually first down. Chains are moving. They lost 4 yards. They gained all 14. And you can move those chains. They're on the 29. Elijah Alfriad has had a great night. You see his 5'8", 160-pound frame. You wouldn't think he can lower his head and knock over some defenders, but he's done it a few times tonight. They go back to Alfriad. Alfriad got a gap. He's got the first down. He keeps moving on an extra push, and back-to-back first downs by Alfriad. Just outside the 15 now. He's got to be getting close to an 100-yard game. They go back to Alfriad for the third time. Alfriad cuts to his right, and he's short of the end zone. 1 yard line. 15 yards by Alfriad. And Carmel looking to go up by 22 points. There's the flag. And I think they just called offsides on North Central. They did. So I don't know how much closer they can move the ball. Maybe a centimeter. 10-17 to go. First and goal for the Greyhounds, who have found their playmaker tonight in Elijah Alfayad, who's to the right of his quarterback, Kazmarchek. Kazmarchek goes to Stewart, and Stewart goes into the end zone. Touchdown for Carmel. They're up 29-7, and Stewart has doubled his touchdown total tonight with now 4 on the season. For Elijah Alfayad, he's going to be talking to his running back mate and said, hey, yeah, let me score some touchdowns. I'm getting this down the field. You're getting the scores. That's really the 1-2 punch that Carmel came into the game with, both of them doing their job. Lining up the extra point with Sponsler, the snap, the hold, and the ball's on the ground. Wow, I'm not sure what just happened. Sponsler had stopped, and I wonder if the holder had just dropped the ball. I'm trying to see who the holder is for this team. No extra point there. I'm wondering if that's Caden Weaver, who's a backup kicker on the team. But either way, it's a 2-minute drive, and Carmel has taken a 22-point lead, and North Central will get their first shot here in the second half. We'll take a 30-second break and be back from North Central High School. You're watching Indiana High School Sports Network.
Looking for training that makes a difference? Then Genesis Sports Performance is for you. Whether you're a grade school, high school, or college athlete, or just looking to get back into shape, Genesis has customized programs providing rapid gains in strength and conditioning, speed and agility. Genesis features a 7,000 square foot facility with state-of-the-art weight room and huge turf surface. Call Genesis at 386-7459 or visit them at genesissportsperformance.com.
We are back. Carmel leading by 22 points, 29-7. Blachek has the ball lined up on the tee. And here we go. There's the kick going off to the right, and it goes out of bounds at the 15, and that's going to be an automatic flag. And North Central will start about midfield due to that flag, as Blatchick just hooked that down the sidelines. Really no chance for North Central to return it, and the ball will start at the 35. I know in the NFL it's 40. I think college football it's also 40, but in high school ball under the lights on Friday night, a kick out of bounds is at the 35. But here comes the Panthers offense, who's looking for some answers since that first drive. They have really struggled since then, as Brody Gibson has taken a couple hits in the backfield, the safety against this offense, and Keandre Perkins, who's been reliable this season, has just been quiet as he's in the backfield behind Gibson. 3 receivers to the right. They're going to a throw. Gibson throws it over the middle of the field. A back shoulder throw, and just short of the first down marker, but that's a good chunk play to start it, as he completed it to Elijah Mack. That's the first time we've said Elijah Mack's name tonight. His first reception goes for 9 yards. But what a throw by Gibson. To throw it where only Elijah Mack could turn and haul it in. 2 receivers to the left. Perkins in the backfield. Gibson in the gun. Gives it to Perkins up the middle. Perkins goes nowhere. He is stonewalled by Will Helt. Helt has had himself a night with a couple big tackles. There's one thing that I've never seen another football team do, but I thought was interesting looking at it. For Carmel, they give a point total for their defense. So for a solo tackle, I believe it's around 2 points. An assist to tackle is 1. Will Helt is ahead by everyone with 86 points when it comes to his tackling. That's a good 22 from the second place person. Hand off to Perkins. Perkins got a gap. He got the first down, and he gets upended inside the 45 at the 47, and a first down for the Panthers. Panthers are trying to have a nice balanced offense here. They're down 22 points after the failed PAT by Carmel. They go into their huddle, and the one thing also that the Panthers needed to work on going into the second half was getting plays out faster, because they had to burn all 3 timeouts with 6 minutes to go before the first half ended. Far receiver to the right. Gibson looks at his left. He's going for a deep shot for Cannon, and it looked like a miscommunication there. Cannon was running a post route to the middle of the field. The ball sailed down the left sidelines. You got to remember, this is Cannon's just his second game at wide receiver, Cannon Coffey. And Coffey going back to the huddle as he had a talk with his offensive coordinator here closest to us. And you can even see it with Gibson. He was saying that he was telling with his hand motions that you need to go straight instead of running that post route. Either way, it fell down harmlessly. Luckily, sometimes you have quarterbacks that throw it and it gets intercepted with no one contesting it. Receiver in motion. They handed it off to Perkins. Perkins got a gap, and he is wrapped up, and they worked up to the 45. The tackle will be credited to number 7 of Carmel. That's Hunter Snow. They keep going to Perkins. The only problem with these running plays is that the clock is running on North Central. 7:38, 3rd and 2 coming up from the 45 of Carmel. It's actually inside the 45-yard line. They have 3 receivers stacked up to the right. Perkins moves up just in front of his quarterback Gibson. Blitz coming. There's a throw. He completes it, and there's a flag. It was Cannon Coffey that made the reception on the slant route, and you have to think that's got to be a pass interference on Kyle Fedorcha. Flag on the ground, and North Central got called for offensive pass interference. Wow. No, it's okay. Now that's okay. They move the ball back, and now they're moving it forward. Never seen that quite happen. I think that means that North Central accepted the penalty, and that's why they got more yards. That's why they move it back to move it forward. It's a little bit of miscommunication between us and the referees, but either way, we've got it sorted. And either way, North Central has a first down, as Gibson has thrown a couple of accurate passes. One to Elijah Mack, and that one to Cannon Coffey, the wide receiver. Handoff. He cuts up the field. He's got a gap. Racing for the end zone is Perkins. He's in. Touchdown! Keandre Perkins would not be denied. He scampers in for 6 points. And we're looking at a 16-point game with 6:51 left in the third. Perkins was pretty close a couple of times. He had a nice push from the left side by Jacob Royson and Moyo Asik Noyo. What a run by Perkins, breaking off a couple of tackles. Extra point attempt coming up for the Panthers. It's Owen Smith, and that ball is blocked, ball on the ground. And unlike in college or the NFL, you cannot return that. So that's back-to-back times where there's a touchdown scored, but then the extra point turned away. Well, like how this game started, both teams got the ball for the first time in the second half, and they scored a touchdown. Taking a break, 29-13 in favor of the Carmel Greyhounds. As you're watching the Indiana High School Sports Network.
Universal Roofing and Exteriors is a family-owned and operated business, providing care and honest service for over 30 years. Universal has always been a little bit different. Their certified and trained employees don't just provide excellent work at a fair low price. They care about their customers, simply providing great customer service. Quality, honesty, dependability. That's Universal Roofing and Exteriors. Call us today at 317-257-0779.
Andrew Mild from North Central High School, and the North Central Panthers just responded to the Carmel Greyhounds touchdown after Keandre Perkins, who watched a lot of Elijah Alfayad for Carmel run the football. He had to show off his own skills in his own balanced attack of speed and aggressiveness as he broke 3 tackles to get into the end zone. Short kick, and there's a flag. It's going to be offsides on North Central, so pushing back 5 yards. So now everyone's going to move up those 5 yards, so North Central is going to kick from their own 35 instead of their own 40 now. North Central's had a couple of 5-yard penalties against them. I remember distinctly in their second drive of the game after they scored a touchdown, they had a false start, pushing back 5 yards to the 18, and then another 5-yard penalty because of delay of game. Again, the big story of the first half with North Central's inability to get a play call in. That's why 3 timeouts were burned and a delay of game. Before you knew it, it was already 2nd and 20 from their own 13. They had a encroachment on an extra point for 5 yards, and then that offsides. Short kick going to Reese Bellin. Bellin going down the sideline. He knocks over a defender. He's going to his right. He beats the kicker. He's got open field. He's to the 10. Touchdown, Greyhounds. Bellin runs like a greyhound. He showed speed and power as he had one man in front of him, knocked him over, cut to his right, and then he was gone. Streaking down the field. Not only is he a talented wide receiver, he's also a very talented return man. Wow. It was Smith that had the race for Bellin, but Bellin went right around him and found the all-black end zone that spells out Panthers in white letters with red trimming. They missed their last extra point due to a bad hold by Carmichael. And this time, Carmichael makes sure that ball is on the ground. Then It's a good kick as it deflects off the inflatable helmet just to the right of the screen of a North Central black and red helmet. We'll take in a break after the great return by Reese Bellin, 36-13 for the Greyhounds.
Looking for training that makes a difference? Then Genesis Sports Performance is for you. Whether you're a grade school, high school, or college athlete, or just looking to get back into shape, Genesis has customized programs providing rapid gains in strength and conditioning, speed and agility. Genesis features a 7,000 square foot facility with state-of-the-art weight room and huge turf surface. Call Genesis at 386-7459 or visit them at genesissportsperformance.com.
We'll talk about a night for the Carmel Greyhounds special teams. That is their second touchdown from their special teams unit tonight, as they had a block punt in the first half and now a return by Reese Bellin. Here comes the kickoff now for the Greyhounds. As soon as they get that ball back, they have to do a kickoff of their own. So 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns. Here comes a return by T.J. McWilliams. McWilliams trying to get his own return here, and he's getting pushed out of bounds from just outside the 20. We'll say that's around the 18. That's on the 19, so move that ball up a yard from what I originally said. But still, they got to go 81 yards. But now you can count that up. 16 points tonight scored by the special teams from their 2 touchdowns and then the safety. So if you're looking at it from this standpoint, and there was a flag, so they're going to move the ball back 10 more yards, so that's going to be possibly a holding. They'll start at the 11 instead of the 19. Actually, that's on the 9. Right inside the 9, outside the 10. Here, this is the Panthers offense that just scored a touchdown due to a nice run by Keandre Perkins going into the pistol. Hand off to Perkins. Perkins shuffles his feet, cuts to his right, and there's just a herd of Greyhounds ready for him as they stonewall him and bring him down at around the line of scrimmage. They gave him a yard there, 2nd and 9 on the 10. 6:10 to go in the third quarter. 36-13 is the total in favor of Carmel. Carmel's trying to win their 4th straight game as they come into this game, the number 5 ranked team in 6A for the state of Indiana. That is on Max Preps. North Central in at number 24 with an 0-5 record. Play clock was at 2. Gibson gets away from pressure. He's looking, fires a bullet, and finds his receiver. Eli Thompson hauls in a perfect throw from Brody Gibson, who does a Houdini act, gets out of trouble, and gets the first down. 17 yards on that hookup between Gibson and Thompson. That was gorgeous. What a great job by the 6'2 senior Brody Gibson to not panic and make a play. A lot of pressure being shown by Carmel here. They may send a blitz on Gibson. Here comes the blitz. Gibson doesn't see it. He's getting tackled down. He gets sacked by Will Helt. He now has 5 sacks on the year. He leads this team. Wow. You have to see that. If you're North Central, they had everybody right on that football, and that just allowed Will Helt to burn the right tackle, Benedict Moraquino, and got back there and sent Gibson down for the 3rd time. Helt with the hair poking out from behind his yellow helmet. Handoff up the middle, and speaking of Helt, there he is again. Back-to-back phenomenal plays by Will Helt. He's got a sack and then a tackle that went for nothing. And this drive after they got a 17-yard completion for a first down. Has been pushed back 7 yards. They're behind 2 sticks. They're on their own 20. They break the huddle with 2 receivers being sent to the far sidelines, 1 here to the near sidelines. Fedorocha, the DB, is the one closest to us. They look to that side. They're going deep for Coffee, and Fedorocha puts a right paw in it and pokes it away from Coffee. Coffee burned him earlier for the first touchdown of the game, but that time Fedorocha was not having it as he waited to the last moment, read the eyes of Coffee, and broke it up. And it's 4th down. Here comes the punting unit for the North Central Panthers. Back to punt is Ethan Gowdy. There's 2 men back to return. It's the usual suspects for the Carmel Greyhounds, Charlie Peterson and Reese Barrell. It's a short one. Peterson gets it. He goes to his left. Cuts up the middle of the field. He does a spin move. Hit the B button. He's going down the right sideline. Trying to go back to his left. But he ran into one of his players. Tackled inside of the 30. And this special teams unit has done a job against North Central. Every time they get an opportunity to return it, they have gained more than 20, 30, 40 yards. One of them even went for a touchdown. That was about a 70-yard return by Reese Bellin. And for Carmel, that was a smart move because Bellin had been out there on the punting unit for most of the game. But after you get a kickoff return for a touchdown, they're going to force it to kick to your other playmaker in Charlie Peterson. And Peterson gets a good return. Go back to Stewart. Stewart with a head of steam. Keeps the legs moving. And they move from the 20. Actually, that's the 28 to the 23. That's a 5-yard gain. 2nd and 5 with about 3 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Carmel on the ball. Stewart to the left of his quarterback, Kazmarchek. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. They give it to Stewart up the middle. Stewart had a gap. He will get the first down and then some more as he just needed to get to the 18. He got to the 15 for a 7-yard gain and a first down. A touchdown here might be the backbreaker on the Panthers. Nicholas Beidel is in the game, the running back. He's to the left of Kazmarchek. Stewart to the right. They go to Beidel. Beidel up the middle. He breaks a tackle, breaks another one, and the ball's on the ground. They're fighting for it, and it's recovered by North Central. That is a big play. Somebody put a helmet on the football of Beidel, the senior who was carrying it, and they come up with it, and they'll take it. They may have just somehow, some way, prevented the backbreaker, the stake in the heart, whichever term you use. North Central still in the game. They'll have to start the drive on their own 5-yard line, but that's their first turnover of the game. They had the offense for North Central had an interception earlier. That is the 7th turnover that the Panthers defense have forced this season. And there's a late person joining the offense. He's just still snapping in his helmet. Not sure who it was that just ran in there. But they're in the end zone. They hand it off up the middle to Perkins. Perkins gets him out of the shadow of the end zone. He is still going. Gets to the 13. That's an 8-yard gain. 2nd and 2 with 2 minutes to go. Perkins has really had a nice 3rd quarter. He scored the lone touchdown in the quarter for the Panthers squad. And he's trying to keep this drive going and get the first down here on the 2nd and very manageable. It's the yards to gain is 2. 3 receivers are stacked to the right. 1 here to the central sideline. And they go back up the middle. And how did he get out of that? He got away from 2 defenders as he hit the break, went around them, and he got 3 yards and a first down. we have really seen some good running back action tonight by both Elijah Alfayad and Lavelle Stewart of Carmel, and then, of course, Keandre Perkins. As no one really gets more carries or even really close to as many carries as Keandre Perkins gets in the game. As through the first 4 games, he had 51 carries for 273 yards. They go back to this trips formation. 3 down linemen for Carmel. They're looking to air this one out. The throw, and it's short as the receiver was still running a vertical route and realized he was supposed to come back, and he slipped and fell. And is that Cannon Coffee again? Here he had a miscommunication earlier, but now as the player returns to the sidelines, we now notice that that was Ryan Smith, who had a drop earlier in the game, and now he ran the wrong route. Just hasn't been a night for Ryan Smith, the senior wide receiver. Trips formation again. They like to stack the 3 receivers to the right of where the ball is spotted. It's on the left hash now. Moving up is Perkins. Gibson in the gun. Pressure being shown. They're trying to stop the splits. There's a flag from all the way back, and the delay of game. Wow. Second delay of game on the Panthers. And for Gibson, he has to be aware that that clock is running down. They had got on the ball with plenty of time, but it was because of Carmel showing blitz late on the play, distracted Gibson, and that clock ran out, and Gibson didn't even know. Pushing back 5 yards to the 13. This drive started at the 5. They got a first down, but they haven't really been moving. Gibson going quick. He throws it up, and it goes in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, Eli Thompson. Could have been an interception for Carmel, but nobody was in the area. 3rd and a while for North Central. Just some small mistakes tonight by North Central. This was a program before they were picked up by Kevin O'Shea that had went 1-29 underneath their previous head coach. But he's turned them around. They've had better years than what they were having underneath O'Shea, but the last 2 years have not been going very well. Here comes a long throw, and luckily that Gibson had thrown that ball out of bounds because that could have been his second interception as Coffee had ran short and the ball was about 5 to 10 yards ahead of him. That almost turned into an easy interception for Kyle Fedorocha. So North Central got the fumble on the 5. They have to punt it away now. 1:03 is where the clock has stopped due to that incomplete pass. Here comes the pressure, and they got rid of it, and it does not look like it was tipped, but it was a short kick as it goes out of bounds. The site judge says we are going to start the Carmel drive at the 34-yard line. Wow. That is a short punt. That punt only traveled 21 yards. We'll probably see Carmel run maybe 1 or 2 plays before this third quarter is over. But now they have the ball inside of the 35 of North Central. Carmel is really just, again, that one touchdown away from putting the nail in the coffin on North Central and moving the Panthers to 0-6. Carmel been running the ball a lot more with this big lead of theirs of 23. Let's see if they go back to Stewart. He is the lone back in the backfield. High snap. They give it to Stewart. It's a stretch play to the left. And Stewart is tackled by nobody of North Central, but instead by the turf monster. He lost 3 yards without ever being touched. As it is once you slip in any body part, the knee or forearm or elbow goes down, you are down. You don't need to be touched by an opposing defender. So 3 yards lost by Stewart. One more play will be going on because it's inside the 25 seconds. Last play of the third quarter. Going back to Stewart. Stewart stops, goes to his left, works his way around traffic, and he is brought down at the 30, and a 7-yard gain is where this third quarter will end. And before we send it off to a break, tonight's game is built by Universal Roofing and Exteriors. Visit them at universalrfg.com or call 317-257-0779. Your score going to the fourth, the Carmel Greyhounds 36 and the North Central Panthers 13. You're watching the Indiana High School Sports Network.
Universal Roofing and Exteriors is a family-owned and operated business, providing care and honest service for over 30 years. Universal has always been a little bit different. Their certified and trained employees don't just provide excellent work at a fair low price. They care about their customers, simply providing great customer service. Quality, honesty, dependability. That's Universal Roofing and Exteriors. Call us today at 317-257-0779.
Third down and 6 to go for the Carmel Greyhounds. Andrew Mile with you as we enter the fourth quarter in a rainy Friday night from North Central High School. As you look up into the lights cascading onto the field and the rain droplets going right past those lights. You can see them perfectly. Here's a handoff to Al-Fayyad. Al-Fayyad gets the first down, and he had one more man to beat, but it was Kenneth Sellers that brought him down. Could have been 6 more points as Al-Fayyad has had a great night pounding the football down the throats of the Panthers. Just has not found the end zone yet because his counterpart, Lavelle Stewart, the other running back on the Carmel Greyhounds, has scored 2 rushing touchdowns. The Carmel Greyhounds box score is going to be very unique when you look in tomorrow's paper with how they scored a kickoff return, a blocked punt. The offense has scored just 3 touchdowns. That's Stewart. Stewart is maybe just short of a first down as he had a great run to start this fresh set of downs. Looks like a 9-yard gain. Carmel wasting no time. They know that touchdown here would realistically end the game. Back to Stewart. Stewart goes to his left. He barrels a man over, and he's got the first down by plenty. It's spotted between the 9 and 8 yard line. And it's first and goal. But again, back to the Carmel Greyhounds. They safety, the 2 special teams touchdowns. It's just been a really good night for Carmel in all 3 phases of the game. 4 down linemen for North Central. They're showing blitz from the safety on the outside. He's staying, waiting. They hand it off to McFall, and McFall is now down at the 4-yard line. We'll give him 4 yards on that play. Second and goal. Al-Fayyad checks back into the game for McFall. Al-Fayyad, he's got to get at least 1 touchdown. I think that somehow Coach John Hebert's got to give him an opportunity to score. The way that he's just been running that football today, a touchdown would just be the cherry on top. 2 backs in the field. They give it to Al-Fayyad. Al-Fayyad is wrapped up and brought down, but a flag is thrown in the backfield, and an illegal shift will be called on Carmel. So let's bounce him back 5 yards for the number 5 ranked team in 6A. Let's look at some scores in the Indianapolis, Indiana area as Ron Colley is leading Pre-Buff Jesuit 23-14. Lutheran Saints up against Scania Memorial Crusaders. They're up by 9. Hamilton Southeastern 31-13 on the Zionsville Eagles. We're back to action here. Hand off to Alfayad. Alfayad goes to his right. He runs into Stewart. He runs into his own lineman. The own lineman's pushing him forward. He's just short of the goal line. What a run by Alfayad. He looked like a pinball out there, just hitting everything and going in a different direction. He had a big push from what I saw could have been Trent Fisher, the left guard. We're looking at it now, and that might be Sam Brewington as they've really stacked the lineup with a lot of old linemen. Alfayad up the middle. Alfayad falls forward, and he's in for the touchdown. There's the signal from the side judges, and Elijah Alfayad, he might be tonight's player of the game, considering how he ran the ball so well. And he finally added the 6 points for his team. The score is now 42-13 as the kicking unit is now taking the field for this extra point. Wow. Been a really good night in terms for Carmel and how they've ran the football. They line it up. Here's the kick. And that will just split the uprights. And it's now 43-13 for Carmel. But let's look at the rest of the scores in the Indianapolis area. And again, you can check all the scores out at the Indiana High School Sports.net website. We have all the scores from the Indianapolis area and the Muncie area. We left off with Western Boone leading Frankfort 56-6. I'm willing to bet that has a running clock. New Palestine, the Dragons, are leading the Greenfield Central Cougars by 35 points. The Cubs of Franklin Grizzly were up by a lone touchdown against the Mooresville Pioneers at Mooresville. Bishop Chatard is up 7 points on the Golden Eagles. Arsenal Tech Titans are taking on the Anderson Indians, and they're up 8 points. Ben Davis, who will be playing Carmel next week, are leading the Lawrence North Wildcats by 3 touchdowns in the third quarter. Martinsville, 21-14 over Whiteland. Southmount Mounties are up 28-14 on the Danville Warriors. And lastly, Tri-West is beating the Lebanon Tigers 14-0 at halftime. There's plenty more scores to go through, but we're back to football here. Here's a return from McWilliams. McWilliams going up, and he is brought down at the 33. And there's an injury for North Central as there's a player down grabbing his left leg. And luckily for us, it had been some time before we first saw an injury. And the referees are telling their respective players to go back to their sidelines while they are going to take a knee. We haven't seen who the player is. Coach O'Shea has gone out to look at his player and check up on him. And as they're checking up on him, we will take a break, and then we will come back when he is up and hopefully walking off the field underneath his own power. 43-13 from North Central High School.
Drive home your new Kia from the all-new Ray Skillman Northeast Kia on Shadeland Avenue. We have brand new Kias arriving daily.
Plus, we have a huge selection of certified pre-owned vehicles to choose from.
And payments as low as $199 a month.
We service all makes and models.
And we'll buy your old car on the spot. Right, Oscar?
Y hablamos español.
Come see us at the all-new Ray Skillman Northeast Kia on Shadeland Avenue.
It's not just a car dealership for me. This is my dealership.
Just minutes from anywhere in Indy or online at rayskillmanshadeland.com.
We have identified the injured player. It was Elijah Mack. Good news, he did walk off the field. He is still favoring that left leg, though. And that means that Brody Gibson will not have his wide receiver, as they will just go to the running back here. Perkins tried to do whatever he could to get around the wall of Greyhounds defenders, and he lost a yard. The driver was kicking off at the 33-yard line, and they lost a yard, 2nd and 11 from just outside the 32-yard line for North Central. with this score of 30 points in under 8 minutes and 30 seconds, you got to think that North Central is going to fall to 0-6 and 0-4 against teams in their conference. And that means that Carmel would win 16 of the last 17 matchups since 2006. Gibson throws short, and it goes in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, who just can't believe he dropped the ball as McWilliams instantly just shrugged as he watched the ball skip onto the turf. Third down. Really just been the night that North Central has had, and really a lot of the nights they've had this season. They haven't had any games that were particularly close. I mean, you come into this game being outscored 206-48, and you may have to add on 30 more points after tonight. The North Central Panthers just have hit a rut in the last 2 seasons. That'll make them 1 for 15. Shotgun. Brody Gibson steps to his right. He's scrambling. He's looking. He fires. And it's intercepted. It's intercepted. He's got a convoy. He's going down the sidelines. Touchdown for Aiden McFall. A pick 6 for McFall. And this game has gotten out of hand. Gibson has just thrown his second interception. McFall picked the ball off, and a bunch of Greyhounds had just ran right in front of him and went into a realistically V formation and ran down the field. As there is a flag down at around the 30, and so no score for McFall, so he can take 6 points off, unfortunately. Actually, they're still going to give him a touchdown. So there is a touchdown. I wonder if that was going to be on North Central then, and that would be unforced on the kickoff. So McFall gets the touchdown. Because of that, it's now a 36-point game. The clock is now running. Clock will run for the rest of the game. On the field to kick the extra point is Sponsler. And Sponsler will make the extra point and give the Carmel Greyhounds an even 50 burger, as they have just spoiled North Central's homecoming night. You have to come into the game thinking something like this might happen. Carmel has just been a consistent powerhouse in the 6A division for quite some time, especially underneath Coach John Hebert, who might find his way into the Indiana High School Hall of Fame if he continues to do what he's been doing. He's in his 8th season. A win tonight would make him 72 for 25 with the 2 state championships and 3 appearances. 2 of those appearances were back-to-back. One of them a runner-up. They went back the next year and won. And they have won a playoff game in every year since John Hebert has been the coach. That is 23 playoff wins. And when you have almost the same amount of playoff wins as you do losses, that means you have just been sustaining a really good program for Carmel, as Carmel has been voted some of the best athletic programs in the country due to max preps, and they've shown it off tonight. They started off the season with those 2 losses, but that's what makes this team so good, is they were able to readjust and turn it around. And for North Central, 0-6, I think that kind of tells that we've really seen it tonight, is they just make simple, small mistakes, and the old line has been kind of being pushed around by the Carmel Greyhounds defense, especially by Will Helt. Helt has really done some damage. He's gotten in the backfield time and time again. Here comes the kickoff for Carmel after they got the pick 6. They're up 50-13, and they're going to return it from the ones. McWilliams cuts to his left. He's got an open lane. He has to beat the kicker, and then he gets wrapped up from behind. And might have saved the touchdown was Patrick Garton, the junior cornerback. And that time he stopped McWilliams, and they stopped him at the 38. But a really good turn by McWilliams. If I'm a special teams coordinator for North Central, you got to take that one, especially as they allowed 2 touchdowns on special teams tonight to Carmel. You take the good return from your star athlete T.J. McWilliams. 2 receivers stacked to the left, 2 stacked here to the right, one of them being Ryan Smith. Goes to the left. It was a quick pass, and McWilliams makes a move. He got the sidelines. He's racing. He's past the 35, and McWilliams is going to escort it to the end zone. Touchdown, Panthers! What a move by T.J. McWilliams. He worked to his right, planted his foot, went to his left, and not too many players in this state are going to catch McWilliams once he hits the sidelines and hit that big red button that turns on the jet fuel, and he was gone. So McWilliams works it up to the 43, I believe it was, or 34, one of those, and then he takes it for the rest. T.J. McWilliams. And they're going to go for 2 here. Why not? I might as well figure out what type of 2-point conversion plays you might want to work on going later into the season. 3 receivers here to our right, 1 to the far left. It's Perkins, the lone back. They're looking to the right. They throw it short, and the ball is going to fall harmlessly onto the turf, and that will keep the score at 50-19 for Carmel. And again, for every Indiana High School Sports Network broadcast, it's built by Universal Roofing and Exteriors. Visit them at universalrfg.com or call 317-257-0779. That's 317-257-0779. As the Panther fans are celebrating their most recent touchdown, they're still trailing by 31 points against the Carmel Greyhounds. The clock has stopped momentarily because of the score, but once the ball is kicked by Owen Smith, then the clock will start to run again. We have 5:18 to go, and it will be, again, a running clock because the score had been over 35 points. So North Central setting up the ball on the 40. Smith putting the tee down. Carmel Greyhounds have already returned to kick, and they're lining up with their hands team. They are stacking that 50-yard line. There's only one man back to return in case they do kick it deep. And with the rain, it appears to have subsided. This ball is not going to be as slick as it would have been in the third quarter. They kick it short. It's fielded by Colin Johnson, and Colin Johnson will scamper up to inside the 40, just inside the 40. It's a 40.5-yard line. 5:05 is where the clock starts, as it will now be running all the way down. If Carmel does happen to score another touchdown here, that's when the clock will stop. Again, it stops for every scoring play. But Carmel has had a great night all around. All 3 phases have done well. The offense ran the ball well. The defense slowed up North Central's offense as much as they could. And then again, we mentioned it, special teams, 2 touchdowns. Handoff up the middle, and they gave him 2 yards. Trying to see who that was. As Kazmarchek, the quarterback, is still in the ball game. That was a carry by Colin Johnson. Cam Carmichael is in, so the subs are now coming in for the Carmel Greyhounds now, as they're allowing their starters to get some rest, and some earned rest, to say the least. They've played very well. Carmichael, 3 for 10 on the season, 58 yards, no touchdowns. He is a senior. Carmichael will give it back to Johnson. Johnson cuts up to the right as he had a gap, and he is tackled at the 48. 6 yards for the Greyhounds, and third and 2 for this team. Clock is still running. 50-19 from their own 48-yard line. 3 more yards to gain for Carmel. Carmel's got Ben Davis next week. North Central, on the other hand, will be taking on Lawrence Central. That is at Lawrence Central. Give it off to Johnson again. The give from Carmichael. And a first down. He's at the 47-yard line. That's 5 yards. As you're going to see a lot of this, a lot of handoffs up the middle to Johnson, or just trying to slow the game down and milk the clock until it hits 3 zeros. Carmichael, the quarterback, back on the ball. Waiting for the exchange from his center. Receiver in motion. It's Cade Williams at tight end. Johnson still in the backfield. And the ball is on the ground. Carmichael will fall on it, somehow beating the edge rusher, Elijah Johnson, to the ball before he did. And you can tell that this has been the backups there. It's a bad snap. Nothing really that Carmichael could do. 6 yards were lost on the bad snap. 2nd and 16. It's checking in is Isaac Kennedy. Approaching just 100 seconds to go. 2nd and 16. Carmichael out of the gun. Johnson now on the left sidecar. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. The tight end was lined up to the right. They give to Johnson. Johnson is hit hard in the middle of the field. A very good pop by Peter Waterman, the linebacker for the North Central team. 1:22 to go. It's now 3rd down for Carmel. And looking at how this might go out, they may have to run a 4th down play, but they are just taking as much time as they can before they get onto the ball. Play clock is at 10. We're under a minute to go. Carmichael backs up. He's 5 yards behind the center. Handoff to Johnson. Actually, it's a fake. They throw it. Got a man open, but a bad throw from Carmichael. We're on the run. A really nice sell by Carmichael. Just a bad throw, but anyway, you can do that because, 1, the play will take a little bit longer, and 2, the clock is still going to run, even if it's an incomplete pass, because of the running clock of a 1.35 point game. It's 50-19 right now, and they have to run one more play. There's under 20 seconds to go. There is about 6 tick difference between play clock and game clock. And I think they're just going to take a timeout. And if they take a timeout, that the game is over. Yeah, they just took to delay the game, and now the game is over. So that's the final score. The clock has hit zeros, and the final score from North Central is 50-19 for Carmel. So we're going to wrap it up here before we do send it to a break. As tonight's game was built by Universal Roofing and Exteriors. Visit them at universalrfg.com or call 317-257-0779. Well, North Central 0-6 for their 2022 campaign and 0-4 against Metropolitan Conference rivals. And they have to turn around and take on Lawrence Central next week, now hitting the road. And for the Carmel Greyhounds, they have won 4 straight games, as they have won their last 3 matchups by 20 points or more. So they have just flat out dominated in their last 3 games, and they're looking to continue to dominate as they will take on Ben Davis next week. That game is at home, and that's going to be another matchup for Metropolitan teams, as the Carmel Greyhounds are 4-2 and 3-1 on the year. I'd say the player of the game would go to Elijah Alfayad, where he just had a phenomenal game running the football for his team tonight. as he did score a touchdown late and set up Lavelle Stewart, the freshman, to get a couple of scores. And going into next year for Carmel, they got to be pretty excited about having Al-Fayyad as a senior and Stewart as a sophomore. For North Central, they did what they could. They battled. They opened up with a touchdown. Thought maybe we may have had a shootout, but instead the Carmel Greyhounds dominated all three phases of the game. There's no other way to put it. And they continue to have the Panthers number, winning 16 of their last 17 matchups. And have now won 7 straight games against the Panthers. For our producer tonight, Khalil Pierce, I'm Andrew Mile. We thank all of you for tuning into this broadcast of Indiana High School football on the Indiana High School Sports Network. Again, your final score, 58-19 in favor of the Greyhounds of Carmel High School. We'll see you next week. Have a good rest of your night.
Tonight's game on IndianaHighSchoolSports.net has been built by Universal Roofing and Exteriors. Visit Universal at universalrfg.com. And brought to you in part by Genesis Sports Performance. Visit Genesis at genesissportsperformance.com. And by Ray Skillman Northeast Kia on Shadeland Avenue. And by High Gear Marketing at highgearmktg.com. This has been a presentation of IndianaHighSchoolSports.net and High Gear Sports.